Hi, I'm Andrew McNair, and I love that clip from National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation for so many reasons. It's so easy to go bonus crazy. I'm sure we can all relate to Clark Griswold, and you're expecting that financial windfall to fix everything. Only it turns out to be something like the Jelly of the Month Club. Let's say everything checks out, and you do end up getting your bonus. What can you do with it? You might be saying, Andrew, I know exactly what to do with it. I have already spent it before I got it. It's all too easy to spend a bonus in advance before you even have that bonus in your hands. So Clark Griswold even puts a down payment on a swimming pool before he has the check in hand. So maybe you're expecting a bonus and you're about to go on a shopping spree or plan a vacation getaway, or maybe you've already spent it and you're trying to fit the cardboard box into your recycling bin from the new TV you just bought on credit, hoping the bonus washes away the credit card. Before you get that far, please watch this video. Now, before you spend the money, before it's in your account, I encourage you to ask yourself one question. What's God's will for this? What would the Lord have me do with this? Instead of planning out your next vacation or home renovation, step back for a moment. Today, we're going to answer the question, should you tithe on a work bonus? And talk about some ways to be intentional with your bonus. I don't want to disappoint, but kidnapping your boss is not a part of the plan. First things first, a lot of my listeners ask, should you tithe on a work bonus? It's a really great question. The Bible is clear that you should tithe on your paycheck, but the bonus may be separate from your regular pay, which draws in a lot of great questions. When it comes to miscellaneous income, like a bonus, my policy surprises some people. I say, leave it up to the IRS. If the IRS is going to tax it, then you should give on it. Because so many times we brag about how much we make and we total in our bonus, our regular pay, and that's what we brag about. That's what the IRS tax, and that's what we should give. For many, a bonus is a component of your total income for the year, so it will certainly appear on your tax return. The IRS is going to tax it, so you should be eager to give it a part of to the one who provides you your daily bread. But maybe you aren't so eager to tithe on it. This reminds me of something David said in the Psalms, put no trust in extortion, set no vain hopes on robbery. If riches increase, set not your heart on them. Psalm 62:10. If you aren't careful, you'll think this psalm doesn't apply to you because you're not robbing a bank, you're not stealing a safe. Why is that? Why do we always think it doesn't apply to us? Because you haven't stolen or intend to steal from anyone, but it's all too easy to steal from God. So what am I talking about? We steal His glory. We give ourselves the credit as if by our own hand, work, ingenuity, and grit that we earned that bonus that God had given to us and put in our lap. We forget that all we have is a gift of God's grace. And remember, your bonus check may have your name on it, but it doesn't mean it truly belongs to you. Another way we steal from the Lord is by not tithing. The book of Malachi actually says that tithing is robbing God, and that's why it's a great parallel with the scripture from Psalm. If you think you shouldn't tithe on your work bonus because it's free money, check out my other videos on tithing to see why it's so important to obey God's word and how meaningful it can be to be generous in your own life. Now, when this deposit hits your account, the first thing you want to do is make sure you allocate for taxes, of course, and then calculate 10% bonus on that tithe. Before your mind turns into a cash register, set aside your first and your best fruits for the Lord. Make sure you do this before you pay your taxes. This can get really sticky, but I say tithe on the gross amount of the bonus, not the amount that you receive after Uncle Sam has taken their share. And remember, Uncle Sam takes a larger share out of bonuses usually. So look at your pay stub for the total amount that your employer gave you, take 10% of that amount, and that's your tithe. You want to give that to your local church and thank God that He's given it to you and honor Him by giving Him His share. Instead of getting the family around the Christmas tree, get your family around the table and pray over what God has bestowed to you with this bonus. What about after you tithe on it? What happens to the rest? A bonus is a great windfall that you can use to clean the slate of any toxic debt that is on your balance sheet. It's also a great opportunity to increase your savings percent for the year. You should be saving 20% of your gross income towards long-term savings. You can also, again, increase your giving beyond the tithe. And so let's go over these individually. Number one, once you've tithed, the first thing that you want to do is pay off any high-interest debt. If you find yourself up to your eyeballs in debt, there's no question where your bonus needs to go. The Bible has so many warnings and so many proverbs about spending more money than you make and spending money that you don't have. We don't have time to go into all of them in this video, but one of the most commons is Proverbs 22:7. The borrower is the slave to the lender. Get out from being a slave out of this debt and pay it off with your bonus. Getting a loan or using a credit card is not necessarily a sin, but it is wrong to owe more than you're able to pay back. You're buying things on time. Are you a slave to the credit card company? No one wants to be a slave to anyone. You might be if you're facing exorbitant interest rates that cause you to pay the amount you borrowed several times over. This is especially true if you're just making minimum payments. When you get your bonus, make it a top priority to pay off debt and avoid getting into more. The latest iPhone, the next cruise that you want to take, or whatever your Achilles heel is, can wait. Don't let instant gratification get the best of you. Don't let someone's Instagram profile cause you to get deeper into debt. Focus on paying down your credit card or loan if you're financially enslaved to it. Another great thing you can do with your bonus is to save it. This probably sounds really boring, but let me explain. Some people I know use windfalls like their work bonuses and tax refunds like a line of credit. They live paycheck to paycheck and don't have an emergency fund. So when an unexpected expense comes up throughout the year, they go into credit card debt to take care of it. And then when their bonus or tax refund comes in, they pay down the debt or try to pay it off as best as they can. They are living beyond their means. You're spending more than you make. Then once the slate's cleared, they're back at it, swiping that credit card again for the next emergency. And the cycle continues over and over again. Along the way, they're accruing all of this interest, making the credit card companies rich, which just again increases the amount that they owe. Remember the verse we just read about where the borrower is a slave to the lender. Instead, what would it look like for you to put that bonus and set it aside to build an emergency fund? Now, if you're debt-free, you have an emergency fund, then we can talk about long-term investments. So again, be prepared for the unexpected. Don't let it take you by surprise. Just make sure your emergency fund is in a separate bank account or even a separate financial institution from your normal spending account, or it will be too easy to spend it on non-emergencies. Now, if you already have an emergency fund, a Roth IRA is a great place for your bonus where it can accumulate tax-free. Now, just remember that the yearly maximum as of this video is $6,500 for someone under 50 and $7,500 for someone over the age of 50. Now, this goes up typically with cost of living or increases by Congress. Another thing you can do with your bonus is to be generous over and above your tithe. Some of us don't even know what sacrificial giving is like, and it's such a great experience. So because we can't recognize our own greed when we're staring ourselves in the face, we make small promises that is just one more bonus, one more promotion, just one more move in the company, then I'll start giving. Just one more raise, then I'll have enough to help others. I've said it before and I'll say it again. If you're not giving now, you won't then either. A change of circumstance is rarely going to change your heart. We just talked about making an investment in your future by creating an emergency fund. Well, don't neglect to make an eternal investment as well. See yourself as a steward of this new bonus. Let it pass through you for God's glory. Give it to someone in need, or donate it to a humanitarian organization or a Christian ministry that you feel strongly about. Let God multiply it and see what He can do through your generosity. The final thing you can do with your bonus may surprise you, but it's very biblical, I promise. You can enjoy it. Yeah, that's right. You can enjoy it. It's a gift of God's grace to you. Maybe you've tithed on it and you've given some of it and you've built your emergency fund. You've made sure you have toxic debt out of the picture. It's time to finally enjoy the good gift God has given to you. And many times, if we're not careful, we'll spend it haphazardly. I would want you to decide to spend it intentionally. Decide how you'd like to spend the remainder in a way that blesses you and your family. 1 Timothy 6:17 says, God richly provides with us everything to enjoy. So thank Him for this gift of common grace. So today we talked about some ways to be very intentional with an expected bonus. Now let me read that last part of Psalm 62:10 once again. If riches increase, set not your heart on them. That's a reminder we all need to hear. One final thought we can take from this, and don't put your trust in your work bonus. It's easy to struggle financially and then say, but I'm getting that bonus soon, so all my needs will be met. If you think this way, you're trusting in your bonus to provide instead of thinking and putting your trust in the Lord. Instead, go to Jesus with your financial struggles. Ask Him for what you need. He cares about your practical, physical needs, not just your spiritual needs. He cares about your physical needs too. So trust Him to provide. Then thank Him for the bonus when you do receive it. Like Clark Griswold learned the hard way, it's never guaranteed. So before we kidnap your boss like well-intentioned Cousin Eddie did, remember the Lord whom you serve. Glorify His name with that bonus. I want to thank you for watching. If you like this video, be sure to click subscribe so you don't miss any of our videos on giving and philanthropy in our Everyday Philanthropist channel. Be sure to check out our podcast on iTunes and Spotify, Rich, Young, and Powerful, where you can hear from other philanthropists who've taken their bonus and their windfalls financially and given them to worthy causes. So check it out by going to Rich, Young, and Powerful on iTunes. Also check out a copy of my book, The Giving Crisis, which is again, richyoungandpowerful.com/book. Until next time, remember to invest your life into something that will outlive it. Now that's living to give.